Euromaxx highlights. And here's your host, Karin Helmstedt.
Greetings from Berlin and a warm welcome to our highlights edition, which this time around includes the following stories. Flower power, how the French city of Nice celebrates Carnival. Swedish sensation, how Per Zennström reinvented the fashion video. And California dreaming, how wallpaper from Berlin hit Hollywood. And we start off with a winter sport trend that's enjoying a bit of a renaissance. Already 20 years ago, some enterprising German tinkerers started sawing snowboards in two for use as touring skis on the off-trails. But the materials and locking technologies needed further development, and the boards were very expensive. Well, today those problems have all been solved, and serial production makes Splitboards more affordable, with the board, bindings and equipment ringing in at about €1,000.
Here in the mountains near Salzburg, Austria, the Splitboard glides like a snowboard. But it can do a lot more than a conventional board. You can use it in deep snow and for cross-country excursions. The boards consist of two halves that can be separated for use as alpine touring skis. They're made of wood, foam, and carbon, and experts praise their practicality.
The Splitboard is very lightweight. Most people go up with the skis and strap their snowboard onto their back. That's twice as much weight. With Splitboards, you have the advantage of having one piece of equipment to ascend and to descend with.
You can turn the Splitboard into a pair of skis in a matter of minutes. A metal rod loosens the connections, dividing the board. The shoe bindings are then hooked in. Some manufacturers now produce Splitboards in series.
It's a great trend. Young people in particular are using them. This is a real trend now, and I think it'll get bigger. A lot of boards are being made as Splitboards. A lot of companies are now making them, and I think the number will keep growing.
Austrians Ina and Kri Meyerhofer are professional snowboarders. Ina has won the World Championships in women's snowboard cross twice. Today, they'll be testing the Splitboards on the slope and in deep snow as a snowboard, and then as cross-country skis. Christian Schett, an experienced mountain guide, has joined them. In winter sports, safety has priority over fun. Anyone going into a deep snow area should have a tracking device.
Don't move with the Splitboard off the slope in open country unless you've taken an avalanche course, which the Alpine Association offers. Have emergency equipment with you, and after you have really mastered the Splitboard.
First, the Splitboards are taken onto prepared slopes. Kri and Ina Meyerhofer ride the boards at more than 100 kilometers an hour. So what do they think?
It takes some getting used to on the slope. It doesn't ride like a normal snowboard. It's a bit harder.
This system has to function as both skis and snowboard, so it's a bit heavier and thus a bit slower.
The Splitboard is ideal for winter sports fans who don't want to wait in line for the ski lift and who want to escape the crowded slopes, and who enjoy the tranquility of nature more than the circus of fellow skiers. The next challenge is to convert the board into a pair of touring skis and find out whether that works and if the bindings ice over in the snow. The cross-country equipment includes ski poles with telescopic rods.
Converting from snowboard to skis is no problem, and the system is good for touring, because you can go up with skis and come down with a snowboard.
It's easy and very practical. You can't lose any parts and don't need any tools. You could even leave your gloves on. The whole thing is very straightforward.
Away from the prepared slope, the Splitboard floats on powder snow. That makes it easy for the user to swing it back and forth.
Going up the mountain is great, and coming down works just as perfectly.
You enjoy a 2 or 3 hour nature hike to the peak, and downhill is a super free ride run. You're on trackless ground where no one else is around and enjoy great cross-country skiing.
The Splitboard passes the test off the slopes and in deep snow with flying colors. On the slope, it's not quite as great, but Cree and Ina Meyerhofer say they'll certainly be using them again soon.
Per Zennström of Sweden has more or less reinvented the fashion video, and to do it he's used his long experience as a fashion and advertising photographer. Zennström worked for many years in Paris, where his clients included Dior and Nina Ricci, and now he loves to experiment with modern technology to create new ways of seeing, and more designers are catching on.
Patterns projected onto a model. Photos combined with videos. Swedish video artist Per Zennström is always looking for something new.
Because usually I am very goofy. I like elegant and beautiful things, but it could easily become boring. So then you need to take something a little bit dirtier, maybe a little bit grittier, a little bit more streety, and like push that into your story. And then, I think I always try to do that. It's probably something I always try to do, like, getting contrast in there.
Zennström is working on a new fashion video here in Berlin. He sketches out a plan and then lets things take their course. His method is intuitive and responsive. The clothes are designed by Michael Sontag. Zennström projects 2 videos onto the wall, one of the model and one of the clothes. He then takes photos and shoots videos of the resulting collages.
You see it's Michel's hands playing around with the fabric, what we talked about earlier. And here it's Michel shaking the fabric and to get some sort of movement into that, because that's kind of like what he's all about. And then we run 2 projectors, one projector off this computer, one projector off this computer, onto our set, basically.
Sontag and Zennström's first project about a year ago went so well, they're now working together again. For this video, Zennström superimposed images from several films. The mirroring effects were added at the computer.
What is exciting about working with Per is the way he plays with different media. He's really a photographer, but is interested in film and the internet, and everything new. He's so curious about things. He has an exciting approach, very interdisciplinary.
Zennström grew up in Stockholm. He wanted to become a footballer, but then studied photography at Gothenburg University. After graduating, he went on to work in New York and Paris. He won the prestigious Hasselblad Master Award for this series in 2002. He started working with video after he moved to Berlin in 2008.
The energy in Berlin on the street it's really something extraordinary. It's not like this in Stockholm, it's not like this in Paris, and it actually reminds me a little bit of New York. Actually, I lived in New York and in East Village, and Berlin has a little bit of that. Actually, it's very giving.
Zennström's latest video for a Berlin fashion house is also an experiment. It includes virtual sculptures that appear to hover in space, all created on the computer.
You can do whatever you want, basically. 3D came in because we needed something which was different, something which was not from this world. You have it created by yourself, and that is really appealing to me.
Today's shoot is one of several for his new video. Per Zennström and Michael Sontag plan to present it at the Photokina Trade Fair in Cologne in September.
Well, if you were visiting Germany, which places would be top of your list to see first? Here in Berlin, things like Brandenburg Gate and Checkpoint Charlie come to mind. But once you get further afield, you do have to make a lot of choices. Well, opinions will certainly differ as to what the most important sites really are, but the author of one brand new travel guide makes 101 suggestions that he hopes give a balanced picture.
Neuschwanstein Castle in Bavaria. The noble seaside resorts on the island of Usedom. The Spreewald Nature Reserve in eastern Germany. The medieval town of Quedlinburg. The Gorleben Nuclear Waste Depot and the Stammheim High Security Prison near Stuttgart. All these places have one thing in common. Bernd Imgrund says they are must-see locations. The writer spent 3 months on the road looking for what he considers Germany's most important places.
The aim was to find Germany's most important and most beautiful places, and places that represent something, whether it's part of German history or something to do with sports or culture. I had to do a lot of sorting out. Germany isn't small. In the end, I was left with 101 different places.
One of Germany's most visited tourist sites was always going to be on the list. Cologne Cathedral is an impressive example of Gothic architecture.
Apart from its impressive size, its cultural and historical importance cannot be underestimated. That starts with its importance as a centre of Catholicism throughout the Middle Ages, that lives on in these walls right up to modern art. Look at the Richter window, for example.
The window was designed by the renowned German artist Gerhard Richter. It's made up of more than 11,000 pieces of stained glass. The idea of a travel guide offering rankings isn't new on the German book market. They sell well. Tourism expert Guido Sommer says they're in tune with the times.
People want their information filtered for them. Nowadays, people want things compressed. They want to know what the top 10 things are, and then they want to see them. They probably can't take more time or don't want to look any deeper.
Guido Sommer wants to know why certain tourist sites make it into the guides while others don't. There's plenty to argue about.
It's always a subjective choice. You often wonder why someone who writes a book like this chooses these places in particular.
Bernd Imgrund tried to draw a multifaceted picture of Germany, but there were some straightforward choices like Brandenburg Gate, the Lorelei Cliff on the Rhine, and Wartburg Castle in Eisenach.
If you brainstorm, you come up with 30 to 40 places straight away, the obvious ones being Cologne Cathedral, Neuschwanstein Castle, and of course Wartburg Castle, which was the site of various historic events in Germany and in a beautiful location. They all belong in the book.
The choice of the Farina House in Cologne was more difficult. It was the inspiration for Patrick Süskind's novel Perfume. The perfume maker Johann Maria Faria created one of the best-known German products here 300 years ago, Eau de Cologne. It's since been copied around the world.
Eau de Cologne is at least as famous as BMW and Mercedes. It's a German product that has worldwide presence and was created here within these walls. And that's why I think the birthplace of Eau de Cologne needs to be included in a book about Germany's most important landmarks.
Bernd Imgrund's book is not a normal travel guide. The author does not describe places, he tells stories. He also has some useful tips for holidaymakers.
Always drink what the locals are drinking. Eat what the locals are eating and keep your eyes open when you're going through different places. Don't just pay attention to things you think you know. Take an interest in things that seem unfamiliar.
This summer, Bernd Imgrund will be on a quest to find the 101 most interesting bars in Germany. He's looking forward to that odyssey, and probably a beer or two as well.
Well, as a lead up to this next piece, I'll just say that there is wallpaper and then there is wallpaper. For 27 years, the Welter factory here in the capital Berlin has been covering walls with the finest of materials. Their one-of-a-kind work has made it all the way to Hollywood, so we thought we'd take a closer look.
Extremely thin pieces of silver leaf are carefully laid down before the wallpaper is burnished until it shines. Each roll is unique. Company owner Ulrich Welter has been making exclusive wall coverings for almost 30 years. He spent 6 years working on this design. 30 hours of labor go into 1 square meter, which can cost up to 2,000 euros.
We apply a total of 30 layers of material. Then we grind everything by hand. We score it here and there. Then it's polished before being covered in silver. Another burnishing furniture polish on top, 100% handmade.
The crock imitation contains chalk and china clay. He also uses gilded, silver-plated, or other colorful glass beads, brass, copper, and crushed quartz. Welter tries out all kinds of materials. His creations adorn walls around the world, and he's on the road a lot.
We're not just selling products, we're also selling a lifestyle. You want to be your own salesman for this kind of quality.
Welter, who used to work in advertising, founded his wallpaper business in 1985. His aim? To make rooms look like stage scenery. In the 1980s, wallpaper lost a lot of its luster. Wood chip paper was en vogue. But Welter turned his idea into a high-end product, which sells on average for about 200 euros a square meter. Welter's employees use centuries-old technologies like dabbing, stamping, or gluing. They can choose from more than 80 colors, which are then mixed to suit a customer's wishes. Patterns are created using a special comb or are silk screened directly onto the paper. Welter is self-taught, and his eagerness to experiment is the company's unique selling point.
He's very innovative, very individualistic. You can tell him you're planning this interior, but have no idea beyond that. You just want a beautiful wall. And then he researches it and makes it happen. Wallpaper manufacturing has reached new heights in Germany, and Welter is also in great demand abroad.
His products decorate walls in Dubai, the United States, and China. His company designed a modern metallic wallpaper decoration for Moscow's Swiss Hotel. London's luxury store Harrods has its own Welter wallpaper. And in Berlin's Adlon Hotel, pure gold adorns the ceilings. Welter's unique decorations have even made it to the glitzy world of Hollywood.
This is one of the most beautiful wallpapers available right now. The wallpaper features crystals covered in silver. They are quite glamorous and twinkling, which is why we've already decorated the Academy Awards ceremony twice.
That was in 2010 and 2011. Now, the Oscar wallpaper can also be had as a glass tile for showers and swimming pools.
I dream frequently that someone will want their whole swimming pool lined with this tile. That would be incredible.
Ulrich Welter's products also shone at the Golden Globe ceremonies in 2011 and 2012. And he still has plenty of good ideas. He's planning on launching 4 new collections this year. One will pay tribute to the 300th anniversary of the birth of King Frederick the Great. One component will be silk, but the rest is top secret.
And finally, we're off to Nice to witness one of the biggest winter attractions on the Côte d'Azur in southern France. The Carnival in Nice is one of the world's biggest carnival events after Rio de Janeiro and Venice. And people there have no qualms about living it up well past Ash Wednesday.
The light is beautiful, and although it's only February, spring is in the air. Perfect carnival weather. There are 16 colorful processions at the Nice Carnival, which is renowned for the elegance, whimsy, and poetry of its floats. About 1 million people come to enjoy the fun. For 2 weeks each year, the largest city in the Côte d'Azur puts on a glorious show with international flair.
Carnival in Nice is made up of a variety of events. The two biggest are on Saturday and Wednesday afternoon. They are the flower parades. They were first held in 1876 and are still going strong. Tons of flowers are strewn, especially mimosas. There are other parades as well, in the afternoon on Sunday and Tuesday, and in the evening on Saturday and Wednesday. And they're huge, with 2,500 people taking part in each.
About 1,500 others help behind the scenes. The florists of Nice jump into action to decorate the floats for the flower parades. Apart from some exotic exceptions, almost all the blooms are locally grown. It's hard work.
We start at 6 or 7 in the morning and work until 4 or 5 in the afternoon.
The magnificent flowered floats are the stars of the carnival.
Nice is the best. Then comes either Rio or Venice. Nice definitely has the most beautiful carnival. It certainly takes the most effort with all the flowers.
The young women who will ride on the floats also start early in the morning. Only one of them can become Carnival Queen. This year, it's Aurélie Wael. She is 22 and a nurse. She beat 29 other candidates for the crown. One of her duties is to take up position high on the lead float and open the flower parade. She receives a right royal welcome. Then, the flower fight begins. 80 to 100,000 flowers rain down on the crowds. First mimosas, grown in the forests around Nice, then the other flowers that decorate the floats. The mood is ecstatic. For every queen, there must be a king. But here, he is not of flesh and blood. In 2012, His Majesty is 18 meters tall and is the king of sport, because that's the theme of the carnival this year. Different floats represent different aspects of sport. Cycling is very popular in France despite all the doping scandals. Another topic is France's victory in the 1998 Soccer World Cup, where Zinedine Zidane was the star. The evening processions are very similar to the daytime ones, though the mood is more relaxed. There's more of a party atmosphere. The King of Sport pays his respects to the British royal family. Britain is the guest of honor at the carnival because London will be home to this year's Summer Olympics. The carnivalists have a lot of fun with all kinds of British icons and cliches. The King of Sport will rule Nice until the merrymaking ends on March the 4th. But the carnival will return next year with a brand new theme and a brand new king.
And that does bring us to the end of our Highlights edition. Hope you enjoyed it and thanks for watching. And until we meet again, alles Gute aus Berlin. Tschüss and auf Wiedersehen.